On March 29th, several B-2 Spirits launched under the cover of darkness, heading straight for the Middle East. With advanced stealth and combat systems on board, these bombers weren't just delivering payloads, they were delivering a message. And while you'd expect their targets to be the Houthis, what you wouldn't expect is how this mission ended. After refueling to ensure they could reach Yemen, the B-2s entered tightly regulated flight paths, like the ones shown here. These are called restrictive operating zones, critical for making sure bombs don't accidentally strike friendly aircraft. If you've been following the Yemen campaign, you know its skies are packed. Navy FA-18s, EA-18G Growlers, F-35s, Air Force F-15s, B-1s, B-52s, Marine F-35s, and Reaper drones all share this congested space. It's like Los Angeles traffic, but in the air. To avoid friendly fire, B-2s must stick to their designated lanes while other aircraft keep their distance. If anyone strays, the mission could turn into a headline for the wrong reasons. Fortunately, U.S. air traffic controllers carefully deconflicted the airspace, clearing the way for the B-2s to unleash hell. The first strikes hit Sadet at around 0200 local time. 10 targets vanished in fire: command centers, anti-aircraft systems, and hardened communications bunkers. At the same time, FA-18s from the USS Truman launched GPS-guided munitions in diversionary attacks to stir up a Houthi response. That's when the B-2s moved on to their next targets. From 50,000 feet, two B-2s dropped several GBU-31J-DAMs, 2,000-pound GPS-guided bombs that landed within 10 feet of their marks. These bunkers were above ground but heavily reinforced, perfect for JDAMs to pierce concrete and explode inside. Their inertial guidance meant even Iranian-supplied GPS jammers couldn't stop them. The Houthis never even saw them coming. The United States originally developed the B-2 for one mission: to avert a nuclear catastrophe. The B-2 Spirit is so masterfully built that it can breach enemy airspace anywhere on Earth, unleash devastating explosives, and escape before the opposition even realizes it's been attacked. This is possible thanks to its four robust General Electric F118-GE-100 turbofan engines. Each engine generates 17,300 pounds of thrust, giving the heavy bomber a combined output of 69,200 pounds of propulsion at full capacity. With this, the B-2 can travel at high subsonic velocities, reaching up to 630 miles per hour, and can maintain flight at an altitude of 50,000 feet, far beyond the range of most surface-to-air missile systems, including any in the Houthi arsenal. But its stealth profile isn't just smart architecture, it's the fusion of science and military engineering. In aviation, the radar cross-section, RCS, indicates how large an aircraft appears on radar. The larger the RCS, the easier it is to be detected and intercepted. The bombers used in this mission have radar signatures of just 0.1 square meters, smaller than a bird. Compared to an F-15, that's approximately 250 times smaller. Its capacity to maintain such a low RCS is mostly due to its aerodynamic contours. If you observe the B-2 in flight, you'll see only smooth, curved surfaces. This design enables the B-2 to deflect radar energy at oblique angles ranging from 60 degrees to 90 degrees. Since radars need the energy to reflect back to generate a signal, the radar perceives nothing, even though the B-2 could be heading directly toward it. But smooth curves aren't the only trick it uses to dodge enemy radar detection. It's also enveloped in something that acts like a cloak against Houthi radars. If you observe the B-2, it's coated in black paint. While the dark hue certainly helps it blend into the night, it's the composition of this paint that's the real game changer. This isn't the kind of coating you'd find at a typical hardware store. The skin of the B-2 is covered in a secret mixture of advanced composite substances combined with a specialized iron ball coating. Working together, these materials absorb up to 80% of incoming radar waves. So even if the Houthis managed to get a ping on the B-2, which they couldn't, the signal would appear so weak that it would look like a bird or a weather cloud rather than the fearsome aircraft that it is. Even if Iran or Russia supplied the Houthis with top-tier long-range radar, it wouldn't have made a difference. That morning, although Houthi radar operators desperately scanned the skies, they never picked up the B-2s. Even without the confusion from the earlier strikes, their radars, likely outdated Soviet-era P-18 spoon rest systems or Iranian-made Qadir radars, use what's known as L-band frequencies. These systems, which operate in the 1 to 2 GHz spectrum, may help in detecting ships at sea, but are utterly ineffective against stealth jets like the B-2. It's like using a massive fishing net to try and capture a sewing needle. Stealth aircraft simply slip through unnoticed. The B-2 is custom-built to soak up as much as 80% of L-band radar energy and deflect the rest at sharp angles. This means Houthi missile crews receive zero warnings. The first sign of an aircraft is the explosions tearing through their defenses. Part 3. Continued assaults. B-2 capabilities. Infrared, sensors, command and control, and payload. As the B-2s continued pounding their targets, the subsequent wave of F-18 from the Truman arrived to annihilate Houthi strongholds. U.S. Navy jets wiped out more than a dozen locations near Sada, including telecommunications masts and broadcast facilities, issuing field commands to Houthi forces. This time, the B-2s returned for a second pass, releasing a volley of 500-pound GBU-38s JDAMs with a blast radius of about 80 meters, 10 times smaller than the 2,000-pounders they used earlier. These were perfect for taking out tactical infrastructure without causing substantial civilian harm. As the explosives rained down, the B-2s veered off toward their next objective. Despite the morning-long bombardment, the Houthis still hadn't fired a single missile. Every position had been obliterated before alarms could even be activated, and it was all due to one brilliant design solution. Recall the engines we mentioned earlier. With most jets, the exhaust gives off extreme heat, making them vulnerable to infrared detection from advanced targeting radars. To prevent any lock-ons from heat-seeking systems, B-2 engineers introduced a revolutionary approach to eliminate its IR trace. If you examine a cross-section, you'll notice the engines are embedded deep inside the B-2's body. When operational, the B-2 funnels exhaust through specially designed ducts that diffuse the heat before it's released. The outcome? The B-2's IR profile is reduced to just 20% of that of a standard jet. But even if the enemy did get a brief lock, it wouldn't last, thanks to these innovative safeguards. Later that morning, the B-2s deployed the remainder of their payload at 8 additional sites within Amran Governorate. This time, the B-2s coordinated closely with Navy E-2D Hawkeye aircraft, using a shared tactical data link to maintain a full three-dimensional view of the airspace, all without ever activating radar that enemies could intercept. Their weapons of choice remained the GBU-31JDAMs, possibly modified with penetrating warheads. Why? Intelligence indicated these were buried data centers disguised as civilian buildings. Dropped from 50,000 feet, these bombs fell for over 40 seconds before impact. By the time the ground shook, the B-2s were already 50 miles away. The F-18s never entered the danger zone by design. Airspace was carefully deconflicted. The B-2s flew at a fixed altitude and pace, while Truman's fighters maintained exclusion zones 30 miles around the targets. No friendly aircraft were ever at risk. It was a choreographed ballet, executed flawlessly thanks to classified tech. Though invisible in photographs, the B-2 is equipped with laser and radar warning sensors that encircle the aircraft's entire body, giving it 360-degree awareness without the need to emit any detectable signals. These passive systems are paired with a fully integrated U.S. command and control architecture. In flight, the B-2 can receive real-time updates via satellite, transmit mission data over encrypted UHF, VHF, and HF networks, and interface with Link 16 tactical data streams. It also houses an undisclosed defensive suite that monitors electromagnetic activity across all ranges. If a radar ever locks onto it, the system instantly alerts the pilots and recommends evasive action, whether that's a course change, altitude adjustment, or rerouting around hostile air search zones. And here's the kicker: these B-2s still have plenty of firepower in reserve. Each one can carry up to 40,000 pounds of armament housed in 2 internal bomb bays. Depending on mission needs, this can include up to 16 2,000-pound JDAMs, 8,500-pound Mk-82s, or even a single 30,000-pound GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator. Beyond conventional weapons, the B-2 can also deliver either the B-61 or B-83 variable-yield nuclear bombs. Luckily for the Houthis, the nuclear option remains off the table, for now. But for now, this is as close to the nuclear option as the Trump administration could get, without actually crossing that red line. The B-2 bombers had completed their mission, delivering precise strikes on their secondary targets with the last of their payload. Their bomb bays now sat empty. Protocol dictated it was time to head back, return to Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. But that's not what happened. Instead of turning around and retracing their path home, the B-2s banked right, pivoting sharply in the sky and headed directly for the middle of the Indian Ocean. It was an unexpected move. Why were two of America's most strategic and expensive stealth bombers flying toward what seemed like nowhere? The answer? A remote, highly classified speck in the Indian Ocean known as Diego Garcia. Roughly 4,000 kilometers southeast of Yemen, Diego Garcia is a U.S. military stronghold that has quietly projected American power for over half a century. You won't often hear its name in the news, and that's by design. Isolated, secure, practically invisible to public scrutiny. It's the ideal location for launching major operations while keeping enemies and the media completely in the dark. But even the most discreet moves can leave a trace. In the days following the March 29th strikes, satellite imagery and aircraft spotters began noticing strange activity. Unusual silhouettes began appearing on distant runways, B-2 Spirits, far from Missouri, far from any publicized deployment. Unofficial reports trickled in. But one satellite image said it all. 6 B-2 bombers parked on Diego Garcia. That wasn't just a refuel, it was a strategic move. Diego Garcia isn't just a base, it's a launch pad, built for long-range ops now hosting B-2s. For context, a B-2 mission from Missouri to the Middle East takes 24 hours round trip and 4 aerial refuels, one every 6 hours. It's grueling. From Diego Garcia, just 5.5 hours to Yemen. That changes everything. Shorter flights, less fuel, less fatigue, faster turnarounds, more strikes more often. But the real signal is political. The U.S. rarely deploys bombers forward without a press release or media buzz. This time, no warning, no coverage, just 6 B-2s, ghosts in the Indian Ocean. Message received. To the Houthis, your launch sites can disappear in minutes. To Iran, destabilizing the region has serious consequences. To U.S. allies, America is ready, in place, and committed. If B-2s are now flying from Diego Garcia, the conflict just escalated. Reaction time, hours, not days. And for America's enemies, the question isn't if a strike is coming.